I've been in business since 1995, which makes me feel pretty old. But I guess, being that old and being in business for so long, it's given me experience. Granted, mainly learned by doing things wrong, but hopefully, if you watch this video, you won't have to make the same mistakes I did. You can learn at my expense. Now, yeah, the vast majority of my experience has come from trading online. I started as an affiliate, and then I built my own course creation company. But I've also had some brick and mortar businesses. In fact, I still own a few. Over the years, I've had the pleasure, or should I say, I still have the pleasure, of having many friends who've been successful from many different business sectors. And through my own personal experience, and of course through the experiences I've learned from others, there's a few, let's call them rules if you like, rules that will help you become a successful entrepreneur. Now, these rules are really going to help you if you want to start your own business, or maybe you're just getting started and you don't want to suffer the pain that I had to. These rules I'm going to share are really going to help you. All you have to do is take these rules and turn them into habits. Now, for these rules to work, you've got to live by them. But before we get started, the only thing I ask in return for what I'm going to tell you is, if you like this lesson, please just take a fraction of a second and hit the like button. And if you have any comments, good or bad, let me know down below. I really appreciate it. So, here we go, in no particular order. Rule 1, income stream. The best type of income stream, particularly when you're getting started, is passive income. In other words, what that means is income that's not totally dependent on your daily effort. You set it up and it runs pretty much on autopilot. If you've got a service-based business, a business where you're charging for your time, say, you're limited to what you can earn. Your business is totally dependent on the number of hours that you can work. Now, I know you can charge more, and it's likely you should. Most people underestimate what they should be charging for their time. They don't correctly position themselves to extract the most money. They're not aiming themselves at the most lucrative market. Now, I'm not going to get off track here and start talking about how you can charge more for your services. That's something that I'll cover in another video at a later time. In fact, I'll put that on my list of topics to cover because it's actually pretty easy to make more money without actually doing any more work. So that's something I will cover in a later video. Anyway, getting back to what we were talking about, passive income. Almost every business I've seen can create passive income, a passive income stream that actually complements whatever business is that you're in. In fact, let me tell you, in most cases, passive income streams can be used to generate leads for your core business. Makes it a far better option than paying for leads, paying for Facebook ads and all that. So my first piece of advice is stop and think about what you can add to create a passive income stream. And no, the excuse for not doing it shouldn't be you don't have the time. Let me tell you, it's likely you already waste a huge amount of time each day. You waste time that often that you don't even notice. Most people do. So you've got the time and it doesn't take long. So take a look around. Look at similar markets, look for ideas, and then the really important part, action. You've got to act on it. Nothing happens until you act on it. Just a few hours and you've got income coming in for a very long time. So the first rule, find where you can make money that's not related to your daily effort. In fact, quick story about passive income. For my son's 18th birthday, Adam, that's his name, I didn't actually buy him anything. I didn't get him a present as such. I created him a little product and set him up with his little business to help him get through university. I'm not one of these people. I'm not a big believer in just giving money. I'd rather give them the tools and let people earn their own money. Now, he thought I was joking. He thought I was being really mean. All his friends were getting cars and stuff for their 18th, and I give him a website that I'd knocked up in a couple of hours. Anyway, long story short, with his little business, with just one product, which is actually still going, and to date from when it started, he's 25 now, so that's 7 years. In that time, it's earned him over 800 grand, and he does very little. Takes him less than an hour a week, and he hires out what little work there is to a retired teacher to deal with. Pays her like $40 an hour. Leaves him to get on with his main business, which is construction. So that turned out to be a pretty good present. Oh, but quick tip. If you're a dude, don't try this with your wife on wedding anniversaries. It don't work. But in most cases, passive income is smart income. Always be looking towards passive income. It's almost like free money. Rule number 2, likely the most important rule, time. How you manage it. Or maybe like most, you don't. Maybe it's time that manages you. I wouldn't mind betting you've got no idea how much time you waste each day. I bet If you had someone follow you around and noted everything you did, like checking your phone, checking your email, going on social media, which by the way is designed by some of the smartest people on the planet to keep you on their platform, to keep you wasting time, you'd be totally shocked. Time is the most valuable commodity you have, and yet for some reason, it's the most wasted. You've got to get a grip on your time and how you use it. You've got the same amount of time as, say, Jeff Bezos, the guy who owns Amazon. A self-made billionaire has exactly the same amount of time as a guy working 2 jobs to make ends meet. The only difference is how time is leveraged. Every day before I sit at my desk, I've got a plan of exactly what I want to do in that day, what I want to accomplish. On the plan, I write everything down that I have to do, and I also write an objective for the day. The one thing that by the end of the day I want to achieve. I've got an allotted time to check email. I check my phone before I get to my desk, and I check it at the end of the day, and that's it. The same goes for social channels. I've actually got someone, a member of my team, who will save all the relevant posts that I may need to see from social, and then they'll email it to me. I can't afford the time to be drawn into anything that isn't going to give me an immediate financial return. So plan your day. Before you sit down, have a clear outline of what you need to do and what you need to accomplish by the end of the day. If you're going to grow, the only way this is going to happen is if you manage your time. You need to put a dollar value on your time, and you've got to be prepared to delegate. If I can't automate a task, I delegate it. And this is absolutely what you've got to do. Put a dollar amount on your time, and then any task you can get done for less than your per hour rate, delegate it. I know this may sound extreme, and I know you're likely thinking, I can't afford an assistant just yet. I get it. And this takes us to point 3, hiring. Hiring the right people. You don't have to hire someone full-time. In fact, you shouldn't. You should start with somebody part-time, and there's lots of freelancers and part-time VAs that you can hire. You need to hire before you're ready. You don't want to be waiting until you've got to the point where the wheels are ready to fall off because you just can't cope anymore. This is totally the wrong time to hire. You'll likely be that desperate at this point that you'd pretty much hire anyone. You're gonna maybe have to hire a few people before you really find someone who ticks all the boxes. And that's why I'll hire on a part-time basis first. Let me try them out. I hate hiring somebody full-time and then having to let them go. I really hate having to do that. So, hire freelancers first and then bring them on full-time. If they're the right person, sure, you may pay a couple of dollars an hour more, but having the right person is so worth it. I live by paying the right people the right money. I've always had this thing about people who work for me. I treat everyone the same. I couldn't care what the role is. Everyone in your company is just as important. From the person that never gets seen, that cleans the office at night, to the people who are working directly with you. Treat everyone with respect and take the time to find their strengths. As a leader, it's your job to know what tasks are best suited to who. So take the time to find out about the people that you've got working with you. Your staff are the most valuable assets you have. Point 4. The next rule is live below your means. As all the parts start to come together and the money starts to roll in, it can be really tempting to go and splash out, buy a fancy car, a big house, fancy holidays. I've got a real simple rule, a rule I've never broken. And I'll tell you, it's saved my skin a few times. Before I go and buy myself a new car, think about buying anything fancy, I want at least 2 years' revenue behind me, and that means, personally, I can live for at least 2 years without earning a dime. And I also financially want my business to be able to function for at least 12 months with zero income. Doing this really removes a lot of the stress from running a business. You can pick and choose your deals, you can afford to select who you want to work with. Gives you a nice safety buffer, which is important. I can tell you with 100% certainty that in business, there's no such thing as certainty. Something at some point is going to come right out of the blue and totally take you by surprise. Having a safety net protects you. To build that safety net, you've got to keep your eye on not only what you make, but what you spend. I question every purchase we make. Do we need this subscription plan? Is it going to make us any money? Do we need this software? How much will it cost? How much will it make us? What will be the cost if we don't buy it? I don't care if it's $5 or $5,000 a month. I still ask. I want to know the cost of buying it, or what the cost of my business will be if we don't buy it. To be successful, you've got to think like a millionaire, but you've got to live like you're broke. Now, the one area I don't go all mean on is how I pay my staff. I make sure they're well looked after. People who work for me know I expect results, and in return, I'll pay for that level of commitment. Treat good staff well. If you don't, somebody else will. Point 5, Rule 5, your personal development. I make a really big point every single week of reading a book cover to cover. Now, recently I've ditched the physical books and I've replaced them with audiobooks. Lets me get the same information while at the same time I'm out walking the dog. Me and Albert, that's the name of my dog, we do an 8-mile walk every day, no matter what the weather. It's great. A bit of exercise, looking at great views with my walking buddy and learning at the same time. So instead of binge watching Netflix or scrolling through social looking at endless amounts of ads for stuff you don't need, ditch it. Spend the time on developing yourself. And it doesn't have to be directly related to what you do. I've picked up some really valuable information from some unlikely sources. It pays to jump out of your normal genre from time to time. Expand your horizons. Point 6. Now we're getting towards the end now. There's actually a few more I could fit in here, but this video's already getting a little bit on the long side. But point 6 is build connections. And I'm not just talking about connecting with somebody on say, LinkedIn. As your business grows, in fact, for it to grow, you're going to need the help of others. But when you're starting out, no one knows you. But there's likely people in your space who are, well, let's call them superstars, people who have a strong influence over the market, celebrities in your industry. It would only take one of them to post on Facebook or Instagram mentioning you, or even have them appear live on your podcast, or even better, invite you onto their podcast, and your business, it would change overnight. But these people are constantly being bombarded with requests to appear on podcasts or to endorse a product. This full frontal approach, it's not going to work. You could email them every day for a year, assuming you could even find their email address and manage to get past the gatekeeper who deals with their emails. You could email them for a year and it wouldn't make any difference. At best, the most you could wish for is an email back telling you to stop bugging them. If you want to make the right connections with the right people in your sector, you've got to play the long game. You've got to be slow and steady. This is the one place where I do recommend that you do use social. Take the time to read what they post, then add comments, ask questions, and interact with the audience. Trust me, they'll notice. If you're consistent and your comments are valid, or expand or say something from a different angle, they'll notice you. You've got to do this regularly. Then, when you do eventually reach out, you've got a far better chance of getting a reply. You should also take the time to visit conferences. Now, most communities have conferences, and all the big players, they're normally there. If you bump into one of them, and if you've been active interacting with their audience, you've got a much better chance of striking up a conversation. What I will say is building connections, the right connections, takes time. If you try to rush it, you'll blow your chances for good. So remember, slow and steady. Now, I know I said 6 rules, but I couldn't resist throwing in an extra one just for good luck. So before we go, I just want to mention competitors. Now, if you're just getting started, it's so easy to get fixated with what your competitors are doing. Comparing yourself to your competitors, this will drive you insane. Yes, you should keep an eye on your competition, but don't worry about them. No matter how big they are or how long they've been in business, there will be areas that you can beat them. So find the areas that you can dominate and focus on that. Don't try and play them at their own game. Pick your battles. Being small can be an advantage. It means you can react very quickly. Anyone who thinks being small means you can't have an impact has never been in a car with a wasp. So there we go. Now, I've had to leave quite a bit out, otherwise this lesson it would have gone on forever. But what I've covered are some real basic but really important points if you're just getting started in business. So learn from it and use it to form daily habits. Information only has a value if you use it, so use it. Now, if you want more from me, if you want to learn more from me, you can. Just hit the subscribe button below. Oh, and don't forget to click the little bell thing so you get notifications when I've something new to share. The only thing I ask, if you found this lesson useful, please hit the like button. And if you didn't, or if you've got an opinion on something, pop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. So, until next time, bye for now.